Dude Daniels, what's up? It's been a while since I've been on camera. Do a video every time I get a haircut, so it's time for another video. But today I want to talk about putting good information in this thing called your mind, your brain, because it was an interesting mastermind call I was on this morning. We actually, a group of us, get on the phone and we actually discuss masterminding a book, reading books, positive books that are going to help us think on better levels. And by the way, you're more than welcome to join that. Just send me an email, let me know. I can get you all the information. But when I was thinking about it, we are in a cycle where people are getting two things confused. People read through a book. First of all, some people are not even reading books. So let's start with that some people are not even reading books. But you have to feed the mind good stuff. I was just telling a friend of mine the other day that we sometimes, rap music, some of the things that it has you repeating and gets in your head and have you repeat and repeat and you repeat it into, which I call it back here, the subconscious, are things that are not necessarily good for the subconscious mind, because the subconscious mind, of course, will start to believe it and pull you towards that goal. So growing up in a bad neighborhood like, a lot of people have, including myself, you start to, of course, see the neighborhood. So your mind tells you this is not a good neighborhood. And then you sing the songs of the people who rap about the neighborhood. And so then even further solidifying your subconscious mind that you're in a bad neighborhood and you do what the people in the bad neighborhoods do. So it's a terrible, terrible cycle. But when it comes to even reading, putting positive things in your mind, positive books, positive storylines, using your own imagination. I used to laugh at people that said, I read the book, I didn't watch the movie. And I say, this is goofy, But they got the time, the opportunity to use their own imagination and make their own movie in their mind based on what they read. Whereas I had to go with what the director did. I could have been like, man, he should have made that explosion louder. He should have made it bang, or he should have done this. You know what I'm saying? But you can't make none of those changes because you got to go with what the director had in his mind and put out there for you to see, instead of you using the mind of your own brain. So this past Friday, I had recommended some books to a whole bunch of Twitter followers, Facebook groups, and things like that. I got in trouble in a couple of groups. My apologies. Jeez. Man can refer a book. But anyway, people need to be reading things to strengthen the brain, strengthen the mind, get more imagination. That's one of the things I put in my book, Life's a Game to Win. Speaking of which, we're moving towards getting into hard copy. But I remember there's a very famous and funny movie that came out in either late 80s or early 90s. It was titled Coming to America. One second. My head is getting cold. So in the movie Coming to America, Ed Murphy, Arsenio Hall, cast of crew, Sherry Hadley, Lisa. No, that's Lisa. What's her name in the movie? I forget her, but I had a couple of favorite characters in the movie. But the point is that I watched that movie. It has to been. I would bet that I've watched it maybe over 50 times. I wouldn't bet you over 100, but I would bet you at 50 that I've watched the movie at least 50 times. And every time, and you probably could nod and agree with this, but every time I watched the movie, go ahead, nod. Every time I watched the movie, there was another little scene or something crazy, funny that you probably didn't notice the first time through. That's why when I went to a movie theater recently, I was like, man, I hate going to movie theaters because then you got to go back to the movie theater. That's why, I figured I'd go get surround sound in my house and get a big TV screen and wait for these movies to come out on DVD so I can watch them if they're good. Watch them over and over and over and over, right? Because you're going to glean more from the movie. And that's something that a lot of people misunderstand with putting good information in mind with a book. People are reading books, but they're not studying the book. And then they sometimes wonder why they're not getting better. Sometimes people are just watching a movie, they'll watch it once, or they read a book once and put it down. A famous book like a Think and Grow Rich book, which is a book that has helped made a lot of people very successful. People read it, and I'm one of those people. Read the book front to back, still was failing, still wasn't having any success, still wasn't growing rich. So I figured that there's something that was missing, and there's something that's missing. I just read the book. I didn't study it, and I didn't really apply all of the principles. But when I look at it now, I say, you know what? I've read a lot of books over the last 10 years, and I look at them, especially self-help books or books that teach you how to develop yourself, develop your mind, develop your life, and they're all saying the same things that they pull out from different books. So one thing you got to learn to do is you got to learn to be somebody that studies a topic and not just reads a topic. You see, some people read the Bible, whereas I study the Bible. And some people read a book, that's why they get a C in the class, while other students are actually studying the book, breaking things down. And you got to do that. So I have some books here that helped me put together my book. And I used to read books all at one time. Let me show you my books. Yeah. So I used to read maybe 2 pages from these books all at the same time. Now I just read one book and I actually study the book, and then I go on a rotation. So once the book is completed, every morning I get up, read me about a good section in the book with notes and stuff, and then once the book is completed, you go over your notes, apply your notes, and then reread the book again. And each book should take you, a month to read. So you should, in my opinion, if you're studying a book, then you should be reading a book, maximum 12 books a year. And if you become a faster reader, have a faster system, then you can read a little faster. And this is going to help you if you're applying what you're reading, especially if there's self-help things. Like I'm going through the laws of success right now. And when you study it and start to apply it, it's a totally different game than just reading it, because I've read that book. I've read this book once already. And I remember there was a late night infomercial on, and the guy's like, read the book once, put it down, take a week off, come back, read the book again the second time, and then put it down, take a week off, and then come back and read the book a third time. A little bit of an accent, and I was like, 3 times. He said, now the third time, something's going to happen to you. Did I do that? No, I didn't do it. But so I'm on my second time right now reading it and taking notes and seeing how I can apply this more in-depthly to my life and my lifestyle. So same thing, you got to be taking in new information every single day, or you got to be taking in a new book of something that's in your field or profession. If you're a lawyer, you should be reading some kind of book by another lawyer. And then, of course, sharpening your craft. If you are a cook, you should be looking at what different cooks are doing and sharpening your craft. The top 50 reasons people fail to lose weight and live healthful lives. The short read, you can read this in probably an hour, but you have to listen to what he's saying in here. And you learn these reasons, then you start to apply the reasons. You're going to get healthy and you're going to lose weight. It's kind of makes sense. Hell's Kitchen. Hell's Kitchen is a book by Dr. Wallet. If you have obesity problems or you have diabetes problems, if you read and study the book and then apply, you are bound to see some kind of improvement in obesity or diabetic complications. That's just the nature of how things work. If you have some audacity, then you pick up Barack Obama's book. Some people might not be fans of his, but his story is still an inspirational story. No matter if you're a Republican or not, you got to agree on that. Hold on, my head is getting warm again. whether you agree about Barack or not, but this is a very inspirational, inspiring story in the book Audacity of Hope. And so you can read this and study it. The story sometimes is what really will inspire you and come to, helping you out. And get, like I said, this is a book that probably you've read. You've probably read Think and Grow Rich to some degree. And when you talk about reading a book like that and you're still not rich, you still don't know how to think, you got a problem. You didn't really read the book. And I'm guilty of that. So I'm pointing you out, but I'm letting you know I was in that same boat. Still didn't know how to think and wasn't growing rich, but had read through that book. You know what I'm saying? So now, like today, I'm shooting this video. This is the main reason I'm shooting the video is because I went back to just looking at some notes in this little famous book called The 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss. Now look, Tim tells you he only works an hour a day, 4 days a week, 4-hour work week. So that's the reason why I'm able to cut this video today, because I went back to saying, okay, I'm gonna work 3 hours a day, and the rest of the day I got to myself. And that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm in the patio of my crib. All my work for the day is actually done. With my work being done, all I have to do is I can sit around, I can shoot video. You see I'm talking really long. This I don't know, this might be 12 minutes by now. And, I can hang out with my kids. I can go to the park now. It's a pretty nice day outside. Whatever. I can listen to more audio tapes. I can get some extra credit work done without stressing, saying, I didn't get enough done today. And that's the difference. That's the difference in what reading these books and applying we're going to do. If you get my book on download from Kindle, Life's a Game to Win, it's the same thing. If you read through those 5 sections in life and you're supposed to play in order to win, you're going to start winning in the game of life too. Not to say that you're losing, but I'm just saying if you feel like you have areas of improvement, which you should, then, there's a lot of principles that you can pick up there. So, that's what I wanted to deal with today is, we got to get to putting positive information in our mind, and you got to feed your mind the things that you want. And, that's very kind of floaty around here. It's very important is to feed your mind the things that you want. And if you don't put good information that's going to help redirect negative feelings and negative thoughts, then you're going to get, those negative thoughts. I always tell this story. I remember I used to watch Michael Jordan tapes all the time when I was younger, and Mike said, I never let a negative thought enter my mind. And I'm thinking, like, back in high school, I was like, man, how the heck does he do that? Because I know when I used to play in high school and college, when the scoreboard looked down, like, okay, this one is over, you would have those negative thoughts. Oh, man, our season's over. This is the last game of the year, man. And, all these negative feelings and thoughts come in, and then the crash. So the same thing, you've got to use positive vibrations, positive thought, and you do that best when you're feeding yourself information on a daily basis. Now, how is any of this going to help you? Some people like to work more close net with me. I'm telling you, just get on the newsletter. We'll be emailing you good stuff. If you want to work more directly, I'm in a couple of opportunities, and those are the ways that I really do my consulting. I don't like to just do consulting by the hour anymore. But these systems, these opportunities will help groom you, especially working with me into that lifestyle and into being able to think on that higher vibration, that higher level, people call it. I like to call it vibration now, because you feel good when things are going good, and when things are going bad, you feel bad. And it's really like a vibrating system. But anyway, I'm going to cut out of here because, like I said, I'm done with work for the day. I'm going to send this video to the editing crew and go out and shoot some ball. Think better, and you're going to be better. You got to read, put positive information into your mind, listen to positive audio tapes, the whole 9 yards. You got an unlimited amount of positive audios out there. Just go to YouTube It's a long week, but it's going to be very short. So take advantage of every moment.